Hey, let's talk about what's impacting our community right now with the ice raids and the mass deportations. I have gathered resources, they're linked in my bio. There's little red cards that we can print out to know what to say. There's websites that are being updated in real time with sightings. The more that we gather resources, share, communicate, speak out about this, it shouldn't be normal. It shouldn't be okay. We should talk about this. I don't feel the most educated to talk about it, so I've gathered the resources and listed the professionals, but I can't just not say something. So I'm not sure what to say, but I've gathered my resources and my information for creators in immigration, lawyers, and people and professionals sharing powerful information and tools, the cards that we can print out. Tell you what to say, just educate yourself. The websites that update in real time. If you see something, post on the website where ice raids have been spotted, because when we come together, it matters. I wanted to speak on that as I look at the year ahead and we build community together. I think this is an important place to start. Thank you for being here and taking information back to your community. I know it can feel overwhelming and it's a lot to process, but making space to have these conversations, gathering your resources, educating yourself, building community. So thank you for building community with me. The timer on my phone says 222. Okay, so I've been journaling about 2025, considering it's a 9-year in numerology, and the 9 card in tarot is the Hermit. And so the 9s are generally about completions, endings of cycles, and then people think about the 9-month gestation period of having a baby. So it's this, completion card association, self-mastery. So focus on your building a relationship with your intuition. And I think it's interesting too, it's a 9-year numerology, and the 9 card is the Hermit card, and Hermit is the Virgo, and the South Node just entered Virgo, so it is a big focus on releasing and surrendering perfectionism and overthinking in Virgo. So your Virgo placements, how might you be overthinking, holding you back from expressing yourself? The next 18 months are an opportunity to release, surrender, build a relationship, with your chart. I love that Virgo represents a harvest. So the goal, and intention is a harvest. So you can look at what house do you have Virgo, what placements do you have Virgo, how might you be building a relationship with them, and the Hermit, self-mastery, what spiritual, callings, dreams, journaling, what tools do you have available to you. Just setting the intention as we look at the year ahead is important. What goals do you have? Personally, building strength, sustaining health, building a relationship with the plants. So these are some important dates to consider when thinking about the year ahead, at least just this first quarter. So I know we're kind of into January. I started the year really sick for 2 to 3 weeks, just truly down and out. And so now I've been trying to take care of myself. And so I'm excited to get this out, but this is what my year ahead readings have been all about, because I've been working full time, but also taking care of myself. So we start the year, with goals, right? But Mars is retrograde. That's a long one to consider, especially I love Mars. So Mars is retrograde, moving backwards in Cancer, where it doesn't have all of its power, resources. So we're working with that, kind of releasing victim mentality with that Mars retrograde in Cancer. It'll station direct February 23rd, and so we can kind of get the ball rolling there. But then, it's also to consider Venus is entering the shadow, going retrograde March 1st officially. Entering the shadow January 28th, and Pisces going retrograde March 1st. So that'll be 40 days of Venus retrograde, and I love the Venus retrograde. But it's a journey for sure. So it also to consider Jupiter as, a Sag rising. Jupiter's my ruling planet. So it might be Pisces rising too. Jupiter's your ruling planet. So Jupiter is retrograde, and it'll be nice when Jupiter stations direct February 4th in Gemini. And kind of looking at the year ahead, Jupiter will station direct and move forward into Cancer. in June. So that'll kind of transition and unfold a story with the cardinal signs, because you'll also consider Saturn and Neptune will be in Aries. So there'll be that relationship to unpack. But starting just with the first quarter, there's also an eclipse season in March. And so I always say mark your calendar for eclipse season. So the eclipses in March are going to be the first one in Virgo, March 13th, and then the last one in Aries, March 29th. So mark your calendar. I don't know if I mentioned Mercury will also be retrograde. So yeah, it's a really interesting month looking at the whole year ahead. So these are just the dates that I would consider. And also, Mars is inflammation, frustration. So how do we build a relationship with the natural world with practices to self-soothe? The plants have been coming up a lot for me. But we'll do some readings. We'll expand on what building a relationship, what that might look like. So yeah, just lean into trusting yourself, accepting mistakes will happen. It's a part of the process. Caring for yourself, caring for community, tending to the earth, healing trauma, finding those relationships where you can return to, self-soothe. Thank you for building community with me. Let's talk about planners. My favorite right now is the mini moons. I'm so excited to share this planner with you. I'm also hosting a giveaway. Of course, everyone in my Patreon, is entered. So my YouTube subscribers and people who join my emailing list. So just like different ways to connect. I'll post more information on all the details. But this is the planner, so you get kind of like, front row. Behind the scenes. So this planner, there's a lot of essays I think are really beautiful. That's kind of my favorite part about this, and incorporating tarot and the moon phases and the dates, and just using astrology and tarot to plan the year ahead, to ground, keep big picture perspective. So these are some things to consider. Draw your interpretation of your card of the year, draw your interpretation of the Hermit card, draw your interpretation of the moon card. The moon is the Hermit's teacher, or whatever other archetypes you'd like to hope for as a guide. Interpret your thoughts on the card of the year for 2025, and then your goals: self-care, self-development, health, career, life purpose goals, relationship goals, spiritual growth and evolution, service, activism, helping the collective, other intentions and desires. I love it. The act of writing. 2025 is a premonition, a foreshadowing, where we close the cycles of years past and enter a new era. For real, because all of the planets are changing signs this year, and that's kind of wild to consider. Of course, like the closer ones change signs more often, but the further ones out, like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they're all changing signs. So that's interesting to consider personally. For the collective, where is it happening in your chart? So yeah, consider Aries. Aries is going to be impacted by Neptune and Saturn. That's going to unfold a journey for the next, people with their Saturn and Aries are going to start their Saturn returns.